So have a seat up on your lift, cross your legs in the center of your shins, feet beneath your knees. Take your shoulders over your hips. You can rest your hands lightly on your thighs with your upper arms in line with your side ribs. Start out by simply being here, noticing that you are nowhere else but here, this moment. Noticing the experience of the physical body, noticing the experience of the emotional body. Accepting pleasant and unpleasant sensations equally. And then we'll begin to make the small adjustments. So remember, it's not the adjustments or the actions that matter most. It's the observation of the effects of these actions. So balance evenly on the sits bones. Lengthen the inner groins. So from the upper inner thighs, lengthen out through the inner knees. But there's also a lengthening from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. So that whole length on both legs between the inner knee and the lower abdomen is lengthening, like you're stretching an elastic band. The flesh of the inner thighs descends. So the flesh of the inner thighs moves from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. And there's a drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. So the outer quadricep muscles working very strongly, compact the hips together. But remember, we want to do that in such a way where we're still lengthening the inner legs. So we're contracting the outer legs, we're lengthening the inner legs. So if you contract the outer legs as much as you possibly can, chances are you will grip the inner legs as well. So we have to use the mind differently and send different signals to the inner leg and the outer leg. So it means we're not always working our maximum, but we're working optimally. And again, pausing to notice how these, or what are the effects of these actions. What changes, even though we just only worked on the legs, what changes did you experience in the abdomen and the torso, the breath? Now, keeping that steady and firm base, lengthen between your hips and your armpits. So lengthen through the side ribs. There's a tendency to push the front bottom ribs forward. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. As you continue to lengthen from the hips towards the armpits. Allow the shoulders to descend down as you lengthen from the armpits to the inner elbows. So sometimes we call this the groin of the arms. So just as we lengthen the groin of the legs, we lengthen this groin of the arms from the inner armpits to the inner elbows. And as you draw the elbows down, bring your palms together with your thumbs at your chest. Touch the palms evenly, left to right, right to left. Gently rest your eyes into your cheekbones to gaze at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. And let all of your facial features completely release, relax, let go. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely, deep inhalation. Om. 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 Lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. And from the back of your head, gently let your eyelids open. Straighten your legs. So if you want to stay up on the lift, you can stay up on the lift. If you prefer being on the floor, you can be on the floor. Feet together, legs together, Tadasana, fingertips by your hips. And of course, if you're flat, if you're not on a lift, then you can have your flat hands on the floor. Toes point straight up at the ceiling, little toe moves back towards you. So the bottoms of your feet are parallel to that wall in front of you. Now press the tops of your thighs down. Don't confuse that with just jamming your knees down. So bring the awareness higher up in your legs and press the tops of the thighs down. And then we have that same lengthening of the inner leg. So from the inner thigh, lengthen through the inner knee. Continue lengthening through the inner heel. And then from the upper inner thighs, draw back towards the lower abdomen. So that whole inner groin is lengthening, and there's a lengthening that continues through the whole inner leg. The flesh of the inner thighs descends. Again, feet together if they go together. Some people's feet don't go together. That's fine if they don't. And then draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Again, doing so in such a way that you're working the outer leg, you're lengthening the inner leg at the same time. And then maintaining that, press through the sits bones evenly, lift up through the side ribs. Watch the front ribs that they don't puff forward. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body and lengthen through the side ribs from the hips to the armpits. Shoulders down, still lengthening the groin of the arm, right? Remember that? Dandasana. And then separating the feet. Upavista Konasana. So Upavista is upward, Kona is angle. So upright or upward, upright angle. And make sure your feet are on the same plane, right? So that one foot's not in front of the other. Have your kneecap and your toes pointing up, straight up. So for most of us, that means you have to turn the thighs in slightly. And from here again, the same actions. Balance evenly on the sits bones. Press the tops of the thighs down, not just the knees, but the thighs. Fingertips by your hips. Find that lengthening from the inner thigh, through the inner knee, through the inner heel. There is a pushing through the ball of the big toe. But again, remember from the upper inner thigh, also lengthen back towards the lower abdomen. So that whole groin is lengthened, right? The groin connects at the lower abdomen. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs down and draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Now maintain that. Keep pressing down with those thighs. The pressing down of the thighs helps the lift of the torso. So as you press down the thighs, lengthen from the hips through the armpits, the side ribs. Watch the front bottom ribs that they don't push forward. Front bottom ribs towards the back body as you lengthen through the side ribs. Shoulders down. Sometimes it's nice to take a little twist here. So take your left hand in between your legs, take your right hand behind you. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Don't just turn your head, but wrap the ribs around and begin to point your navel towards that right leg. Still extending through both legs, drawing both outer knees to outer hips. Even though we're turning to the right, don't ignore the left side. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Come to center. Other side, right hand between your legs, left hand behind you. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, turn to the left. But again, the kneecaps stay pointed up, the toes stay pointed up. Press both thighs down, extend through the inner legs, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips as you compact your hips. And rotate the ribs around. Don't just turn the head, turn the torso. Shoulders down. Inhale, exhale, come to center. So again, thighs down, lengthen the inner legs, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. And then take your hands between your knees. You're going to lift straight up. The feet will come together, and then you can take them the rest of the way together. So feet together, knees apart. And again, you can take your fingertips by your hips. If you're on the floor, then you can take your hands underneath your feet if that works better for you, either way. But if you're on a lift, then you want your hands by your hips. Press your heels. Press your heels. And as you press your heels, same instructions for the legs. Lengthen through the inner legs. So from the upper inner thighs, lengthen through the inner knees. From the upper inner thighs, draw back towards the abdomen. The goal is to move the knees away from each other, not just down, but away from each other. They may go down. When you move them out to the sides, they end up going down. But you don't want to focus on the downward action. You want to focus on the widening action. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs and draw your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact your hips together. Lengthen and lift through the side ribs. Take your hands on the outside of your knees. Push your legs together. Hold behind one knee. Draw the flesh towards the buttocks. Drag your heel and straighten your leg. Hold behind one knee. Hold behind the knee. There are two strands there. Take one in each hand. Draw the flesh towards the buttocks. Drag the heel. Straighten the leg. That just helps the knee out a little bit when you straighten your legs that way. Not everyone teaches that. Back to Tadasana. Thighs down. Lift up through the side ribs. Hands by your hips. All right, come onto your hands and knees. If you use blocks of the chair for downward facing dog, you can use those. And so Leanne, both ways work. You have to see which works better for you, okay? Sometimes that one works better, sometimes the other way works better. Press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. So there's a rotation of the forearm that turns in as you press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. At the same time, rotate your upper arm out. Shoulders over your wrists, knees slightly behind your hips. Push down into the floor to lengthen through the inner arms and see that there's equal pressure on each of your hands, that you're not pushing one hand more than the other. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Again, pressing down into the ball of the first finger and thumb as you rotate the upper arms out, pushing into the floor. Inhale, and on your exhalation, take your thighs back, take your chest towards your thighs, take your sit bones towards the ceiling. Press your thighs back. Use the work of your legs to lift yourself up, off of your shoulders and off of your wrists. Straight legs as best as you can get them. If they're not getting straight, you can take them a little further apart. That will help. Push down to the ball of the first finger and thumb. Right, so don't let the weight fall to the outer hand, but press into the inner hand. At the same time, rotate the arms out. Now lengthen from the tip of your first finger all the way through to your sit bones. So through your inner arm, through your armpits, through your side ribs, press your thighs back. And then lengthen from the center of your calf through the tendon, through the heel towards the floor. As you press the outer heels down, lift the outer hips up. Outer heels down, outer hips up. And coming into Uttanasana forward bend, look up, walk your feet forward, and hold your elbows. As you hold your elbows, take your upper arms in line with your ears. Have your hips above your heels, toes forward, the toes forward. If your legs aren't straight, take them wider apart. You can be as wide as the sticky mat, totally fine. And press the thighs back. Again, don't just jam the knee back, but bring your awareness higher up in the leg and press the thigh bone back. Not just the knees, the thigh bone. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Lengthen from the inner knees all the way up through to the lower abdomen. The whole inner groin lengthening. The flesh of the inner thighs moves back. Right? So same work with the legs that we've been doing all morning so far. And as you move your hips towards the ceiling, as you move your sit bones towards the ceiling, let your torso fall over your thighs. Back to downward facing dog. Let your arms go, hands on the floor, bend your knees if you need to, and walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Press the thigh bones back, right? So those tops of the thighs, really move them back. Don't just jam your knees back, but take the thigh bones back. Use that work to lift yourself up off of your shoulders and off of your wrists. So how does that feel, Leanne? Honey. Extend your outer heels down. Lift your outer hips up. And as you lengthen from the tip of the first finger all the way through to your sit bones, on your exhalation, take your chest towards your thighs. Right? They say the chest chases the thighs. So the thighs continue to go back and the chest chases the thighs, but it's continuous. And then the thighs still go back and the chest continues to chase the thighs. And then look up, walk your feet forward, hold your elbows the opposite way you did the first time. Toes forward. I know, hardest part of the pose, remembering which way you crossed your forearms. Lift the outer knees from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. As you compact the hips together, right? So there's a lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. As you compact the hips together, lift the hips up, but now broaden across the lower back. So it's not that we grip the hips and tighten everything between them. We compact the hips, but yet loosen the area of the lower back and the sacral band. Right, that area where that band where the sacrum is. Let your torso fall over your thighs. On each exhalation, let your chest move towards your big toes. Let your arms go. Take your hands on your hips, elbows towards the ceiling. Now keep the thighs pressing back, extend the chest forward, and slowly inhale, come up. And turn to face the front. Take your feet together in Tadasana. If feet hip distance apart is more accessible to you, you can have feet hip distance apart. That's okay. Otherwise, feet together. Feet are together, then the balls of the toes are touching. Maybe the toes themselves, but that depends on the makeup of your feet and how wide you can spread your toes. But the balls of the toes touching and the inner heels touching. And then the hardest part of the pose, balance evenly on your feet. Shoulders over your hips, hips over your heels. Move over a little bit so I can see everyone better. Press the thigh bones back. Same action. The tops of the thighs. Don't just push the knees back. The legs are straight. I'm not saying bend the knees, but it's the top of the thigh that presses back. Ultimately, the whole thigh presses back. We want to get that thigh bone moving back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. Lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. Keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body. Lengthen from your hips through your armpits. Shoulders down, extend through the arms. Palms face your hips. Tadasana. And again, just as we lengthen the groin of the legs here, we lengthen the groin of the arms. So from the armpits through the inner elbow, there's a lengthening. And as we lengthen there, there's a drawing from the outer elbow back to the shoulder. Right? So we lengthen the groins of the legs, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. We lengthen the groins of the arms, draw from the outer elbow to the shoulder. So there's a similarity in the way that the legs and arms work. Not exactly the same, but certainly a similarity. Take your arms out to the sides, drop the shoulders. So you want to hold your arms up from your armpits, not your neck, shoulders. From your armpits, rotate the arms up. Drop the shoulders. Now, did you notice how your front ribs move forward when you turn your arms up? Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. And then from your armpits, push your arms up. Shoulders go down as the arms go up. Urdhva Hastasana. Shoulders down, arms up. Now again, balance evenly on the feet. Pose starts at the base, so balance evenly on the feet, thighs back. Lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Continue the lengthening up through the side ribs. Open the armpits. Make the armpits nice and open, long. Then as you reach for the ceiling, move your shoulders and shoulder blades down towards the floor. And turn your arms out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Shoulders down. It's getting a little warm in here. Interlace your fingers together. Take your right first finger on top. Turn your palms out. Push the webbing of your fingers together. Watch those ribs. Did you feel your ribs come forward when you pushed your arms forward? If you didn't, it doesn't mean they didn't go forward. So take the front ribs back, straighten the elbows, so extend through the wrists, but there's still the drawing from the outer elbow to the shoulder. That's still there. So draw the shoulder bone into the shoulder socket, and then inhale, take the arms up. The wrists go up. Draw the shoulder bone back into the shoulder socket, shoulders down, shoulder blades down, wrists up. Push your feet into the floor evenly. Extend your wrists up towards the ceiling. Soft face, soft jaw. Release your arms out to the sides. Interlace your fingers together the opposite way. Take the opposite first finger on top. Turn your palms out. Again, thighs back, ribs back. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Inhale, come up. Watch those ribs. Keep the ribs going back. Shoulders down as the arms go up. Push through the feet. Extend your wrist towards the ceiling. So even from your hips is an extending through the side ribs, an opening of the armpits, and extend your wrists up as you draw your shoulder bones back into the shoulder sockets. Shoulders down, shoulder blades down. And release your arms out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows back into a forward bend, Uttanasana. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come forward. As you come forward, please remember thighs back. Please remember, even though the torso is falling down, is going down, you're lifting through the legs. In fact, the more you lift through the legs, the more your torso comes over your thighs. So lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. Move your hips up towards the ceiling as your torso falls over your thighs. Let your skull release. Let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Extend your chest forward. Slowly inhale and come up. Feet together. Tadasana. We'll teach a Trikonasana, triangle pose. You can either jump or step your feet apart. Just take your fingertips up by your chest, bend your legs, jump or step your feet wide. So it's a wide stance. You want to notice how far apart your hands are. And you want your feet to be as wide as your hands are. I'll move down a little bit so you can see Shane a little bit better. Drop your shoulders. The thighs are still pressing back. Same work with the legs. Thighs back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. Then turn your left foot in. Turn your right leg out. So the right toes point straight to the side of the room. Right? So turn that right leg out. That's it. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Right? So the back heel, that back heel, you want to press into the outer rim of that back heel. That's it. The front thigh, it's a straight leg, but turn the thigh from the inside out so your knees in line with the top of the foot. And then there's that action, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, take your right hand down, take your left arm up. Front leg stays straight. That's it. So keep pressing into the outer rim of the back heel. Keep that front thigh turning from the inside out. Keep lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. And then as you rotate the torso, extend the arms away from each other. Watch throwing your lower shoulder forward. So George, don't just try and turn the head up, though it goes up. See if you can do more from the torso and then have the head follow the torso. Instead of the torso following the head follows the torso. Coming out, press into the back heel, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Over to the other side, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. And then lift from your outer knees to outer hips. Compact your hips together. Now maintain all that. Inhale, exhale, come down. Left hand down, right arm up. Keep pressing into the outer rim of the back heel. Keep turning the front thigh from the inside out. Keep lifting the outer knees to the outer hips. No toe gripping. Soft toes. Lifting both outer knees to the outer hips and then allowing the torso to rotate, extend the arms away from each other. And observing your pose. That's the most important part. Coming out, press into the back heel, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. One more time. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step your feet apart. So again, take the wide stance. And then everyone take your hands on your hips for just a moment. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out, front heel in line with your back arch. So you want to press the outer rim of the back heel. So you have to take the back thigh back so you can press into the heel. But now there's this front leg. I want you to, it's a straight leg pose, but we're going to bend the knee. I want you to bend the knee slightly, turn the thigh from the inside out so the knee is in line with the top of your foot. Now here's the key. When you straighten your leg, don't just push the knee down, but keep the thigh turning as you lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. As you move the femur bone, that's the big thigh bone, right up into the hip socket. Okay, and you can try it again. So bend the knee slightly, turn the thigh from the inside out so that your knee is in line with the top of the foot. And then maintaining that, lift from the outer knee to the outer hip and move, push the femur bone deep into the hip socket. When I really pay attention and do it this way, I've been doing this for 20 years, I still feel that hip really beginning to open up. And if I'm just kind of going through the motions, I don't feel it. But when I pause and really do that work, this is a hip opener, this pose. Now maintain that work, extend the arms, inhale, exhale, take your right hand down, left arm up, and then take your left hand on your hip for a moment. So as soon as we get the torso and the arms involved, we lose much of the work that we just did for our legs. So again, I want you to take the back thigh back and press into the outer rim of the back heel. But now bend the front leg just a little bit, turn the thigh from the inside out, and again, straighten the leg by lifting from the outer knee to the outer hip. Push the femur bone into the hip socket. And then rotate the torso and finish the pose by extending your arm up. Observe your pose. And pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Keep the feet wide, and then take your hands on your hips. Then right foot and left leg out. So again, the back thigh goes back so that you can press the outer rim of the back heel, from the hip press into the outer rim of the back heel. Now that front leg, bend the knee slightly. Turn the thigh from the inside out and lift from the outer knee to the outer hip to straighten your leg. Push the femur bone into the hip socket. Some of you will notice this leg is very different than the other leg. And then again, bend that front leg, turn the thigh from the inside out, lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. Move the femur bone into the hip socket. And extend the arms. Inhale, exhale, come down. Take your right hand on your hip. And again, go after the leg. So take the back thigh, the right thigh back as you press into the outer rim of the back heel. Bend the front leg slightly, turn the thigh from the inside out, and then straighten the leg by lifting from the outer knee to the outer hip, pushing the femur bone into the hip socket. For me, that even turns the torso. My head begins to look up when I do that. It may not happen to you. It didn't happen when I started doing that. But there's enough openness now that the action of the legs creates the initial turn of the torso. Then you can turn the torso on your own and extend your top arm up. Observe your pose. Still lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Move the femur bones, especially the front leg, but it is both. But move those femur bones into the hip sockets. And pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jumper step your feet together. Tadasana. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come forward. Uttanasana, forward bend. Let the skull release. This is to recover. It's nice to let the brain and the skull recover between standing poses sometimes. It's not that there's no work. Yes, you're still lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. You're still lengthening from the inner knees through the groins. As you move your hips towards the ceiling, let your torso fall over your thighs. Skull releasing. Let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Extend your chest forward. Slowly inhale and come up. Feet together, Tadasana. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior Pose 2. Fingertips up. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet apart. Drop the shoulders. Turn your left foot in. Turn your right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. So we start off the same way. The back thigh moves back so you can press into the back heel. The front thigh turns from the inside out. Lift from your outer knees to the outer hips. Now in this pose, we do bend the front leg. So press into the back heel, reach with your back arm, inhale, and exhale, bend the leg, front leg. So your knee is over your ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Keep pressing into the back heel. Don't let your knee go past your ankle, George, okay? So you can take a wider stance or just pull back a little bit. Press into the back heel. Lift the side ribs, lift the chest, drop the shoulders, and gaze over those front fingertips. Imagine you have eyes in the back of your head. Look through those eyes. And then straighten your front leg, parallel your feet. Hands on hips for a moment. Just take a breath because I'm in a good mood today. And then arms out. Right foot in, left leg out. Again, front heel in line with your back arch. The back thigh goes back. Press the back heel. The front thigh turns out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. And then as you continue to press the back heel, reach to the back arm, bend the front leg. It's a 90-degree angle. Knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Drop the shoulders. So press the back heel, lift through the side ribs, drop the shoulders, gaze over your front fingertips. But imagine you have eyes in the back of your head and look through those eyes. And then coming out, press the back leg, pull with the back arm, straighten the front leg, parallel the feet, jump or step your feet together. One more time. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Take the wide stance. Let's start off with hands on hips. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. So the back thigh goes back, press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. The torso, there's a tendency to turn the torso here. So I want you to, as you press that back thigh back, your left ribs go with it, right? So your torso is parallel to the walls, the front and back walls. Of course, when that happens, the front thigh turns in. So turn the front thigh out. Back thigh back, front thigh out. Hands on hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the front leg. So there's a tendency for the knee to shift inward, the front knee. So again, I want you to take the back thigh back, but then take the knee back so it's over the ankle. And take the right buttock, the front buttock, forward. Even the tailbone and buttock move forward as the knee, front knee, back thigh, move back. Notice the effects. For some of you, you'll notice a bigger lift in the chest. I also want to add the weight on your front leg should be on your heel, not your toes. Okay? On your heel, not your toes. And then adjust the torso. Keep the legs, adjust the torso so it's parallel to the front and back walls. Drop your shoulders, lift your chest, and now extend the arms. Shoulders down. Gaze over your front fingers. Look through the eyes in the back of your head. Take your whole torso, just there you go. And now drop the shoulders again. There you go. Shoulders down. Chest lifts, but the shoulders drop. And reach with your back arm, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet, hands on hips. Take a breath, check in with yourself. Right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take the back thigh back so you can press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift your outer knees to your outer hips. Adjust the torso. Start here. Don't wait till you bend your leg. Adjust the torso here. If you have to readjust, readjust. But adjust the torso so as the back thigh goes back, it's drawing the torso with you. So that the torso is parallel to the front and back walls. But that front leg does turn in when you do that, so you have to turn the front thigh out again. And see if you can, we start off doing them as separate actions. The back thigh, press it back, turn the front thigh out. But eventually you want to do those at the same time. Press the back thigh back and turn the front thigh out. Now, if that's not working today, then do them separately. One at a time, go back and forth. Totally fine. But know that that's where we're going. Inhale. On your exhalation, bend the front leg. So again, this back thigh goes back. The front knee goes back. Of course, if you have replacement hips, you have to listen to your body. So Karen, be careful. But that front buttock, so the left buttock moves forward, the tailbone moves forward. So buttock, tailbone forward, front knee, back thigh back. Lift the chest. Now drop the shoulders down, lift the chest, and now extend the arms and gaze over your front fingertips. Observe your pose. Drop the shoulders. Not the arm, the shoulders. And then reach with that back arm, straighten the front leg, parallel your feet, and jump or step your feet together. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows the opposite way you did last time. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come down. Work the legs. Let the skull release. Lift it from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees through the groins. Lift your hips up, let your torso fall over your thighs. Let the skull release. And let your arms go, sweep your arms back, extend your chest forward. Inhale, come up. And take your feet together. Tadasana. All right, grab a couple blocks. Take one on each side of your mat towards the rear of your mat. Be standing in front of the blocks, not in line with them, because when you separate your feet, I don't want you to trip on the blocks. That's it. Good, Shane. Trikonasana, extended side angle pose. Fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. Drop the shoulders. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. So this starts off as Virabhadrasana 2. Front heel in line with your back arch. The back thigh moves back. Press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Inhale, exhale, bend the front leg. So Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, exhale. Take your hand on the block. Move the block right next to your heel and extend your left arm up. Now reach up, rotate the arm so the palm faces your ear. Reach up towards the ceiling and make a nice big arch over your ear. Grab the chair if you want, George. There you go. Isn't that nicer? Press into the back heel. Now that right knee, front knee still goes back. So the back thigh goes back and the front knee goes back. The right buttock goes forward and the tailbone goes forward. And then rotate the torso and extend from the back heel all the way through your arm. And then coming out, reach through that arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, over to the other side, right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Back thigh back, press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, on your exhalation, bend your leg. Inhale, on your exhalation, take your hand to the block, move that block to the heel. Extend your right arm up, rotate it, reach up and extend your arm over your ear, keep pressing that back heel. So again, the back thigh goes back as you press into the heel. The front knee goes back, and the front buttock and the tailbone go forward. Observe your pose. From the back heel, reach all the way through. Don't throw your ribs forward, Leanne. Front ribs back. Yeah, there. Otherwise, you begin to turn it into a back bend, which it is not. Back bends are great. It's just, this is not the back bend. Reach through the arm and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. It also then hardens your diaphragm so you can't breathe as well. One more time. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Take your hands on your hips for a moment. So turn your left foot and turn your right leg out, front heel in line with your back arch. The back thigh goes back, press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, lift your outer knees to your outer hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the front leg. Now extend the arms for a moment. Inhale, exhale, take that right hand down, but then take your left hand on your hip. So we're going to work the legs again. So that back thigh goes back so that you can press the back heel. But also, as you take the back thigh back, that helps rotate the torso. So as the left thigh goes back, the left ribs go with you. Now, that knee tends to go, front knee tends to go forward. So take that knee back towards your elbow, right? So the back thigh back, front knee back. But now take the front buttock, hip, buttock forward, and the tailbone forward. As you take the buttock forward, the right ribs go forward. So left thigh back, left ribs back. Right buttock forward, right ribs forward. So the legs again are creating that turn of the torso. Have that weight on the front heel, not on the front toes or balls of the toes. There's also, as you do that, this opening in the pelvic area. Rotate the torso. Then finish the pose, extend your arm up, rotate your arm, and extend that arm over your ear. From your back heel, extend all the way through the fingertips, and then reach through that fingertips and extend through the back heel. It's a two-way street, not a one-way street. That's it. And then reach through that arm and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, hands on hips, take a breath. Right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Back thigh back, press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Inhale, exhale, bend the leg. Now extend the arms. Inhale, exhale, take the left hand down, but then take the right hand on your hip. So again, take the back thigh back. It helps you press the back heel. It also helps rotate the torso. Now the knee tends to follow as you rotate the torso, that front knee goes forward. So take that front knee back into your elbow, but take the front buttock, the left buttock forward. So left knee back, left buttock forward. As the buttock goes forward, the ribs go forward. So right thigh back, right ribs back, left buttock forward, left ribs forward. Tailbone also going forward. So again, the legs are controlling the turn of the torso. And then rotate the torso, continue that rotation, extend the arm up, rotate it, and reach over your ear. And from your back heel, extend all the way through the fingertips. From the fingertips, extend all the way through the back heel to two-way street. And make sure you're not pushing your front ribs forward. Front ribs still go towards the back body. Are you okay, Shane? Okay. Anything bothers you, you let me know. Reach through that arm and pull yourself up and up. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Turn to face the side of your mat. If you use a chair for downward facing dog, get that ready. We'll start in a forward bend though. So yeah, you can take blocks off to the side. Arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows the opposite way you did last time. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come forward. Forward bend. Lift up through the legs. Let your torso fall over your thighs. Let your skull release. Let your arms go, hands on the floor. Walk your feet back. Downward facing dog. Thighs back. Again, using the legs to lift yourself up. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs. Rotate the upper arms out. As you push into the floor evenly on the two hands, lengthen from the tip of your first finger through to your sit bones. Now really press those tops of the thighs back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Extend your outer heels down, outer hips up. On your exhalation, take your chest towards your thighs. Now, how is this different than the first time you did it? We haven't done this pose for, I don't know, about 40 minutes or so. How is it different? What's different? What's changed? And then look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, extend your chest forward, and inhale, come all the way up. Feet together, Tadasana. And release. Take your chair, take the back of your chair so that the back of your chair faces the front of the room. I'm trying to get where I can see you. That's it. So just turn the chair around so the back faces the front. And then have a seat in the chair facing the side so that your right side is facing the back of the chair. That's it. Now, as best you can on whatever type of chair you have, square your hips, knees, and then heels underneath your knees. Now, even here, just sitting here, there's a tendency to throw the ribs forward, to let the abdomen fall forward, let the ribs fall forward, and take the top of the buttocks up. So I want you to take your front bottom ribs towards the back body and take the top of the buttocks down. so that your shoulders are over your hips and that there's a lengthening in the side ribs. We are doing a twist, but twists are more about the lengthening of the spine than the turn of the spine. There's still a drive from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact your hips together, and you will get much more from your twist if you lengthen the inner groin. So from the lower abdomen to the inner knee, find that lengthening. The flesh of the inner thighs descend. Now extend your arms forward, arms up. So lengthen. This is to get the length, Watch the ribs. Did your front bottom ribs move forward? The answer is yes. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Now maintain that length. Inhale, exhale, take your arms out to the side. That wall might be a little bit in the way, but it'll work. Inhale, exhale, begin to turn towards the back of the chair and just take hold of the back sides of the chair with open hands. Now, even here, again, those front ribs begin to push forward. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Inhale, lengthen up through the side ribs and spine. And on your exhalation, pull with the left hand, push with the right hand, and turn towards the right, towards the chair back. Don't just turn with your head. So keep your chin in line with your sternum and turn the torso itself. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting. Maintain the lift. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift, maintain that lift. Exhale, come to center. Turn around on the chair. Square your hips, knees, heels. Front bottom ribs back. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips, lengthen and descend the inner groins. Arms forward, arms up, lengthen. Lengthen through the side ribs, lengthen through the spine. As soon as the arms go up, the ribs go forward. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Keep that length. Inhale, exhale, arms out to the side. Get some width. And yeah, we just do the best we can with walls. Inhale, exhale, turn. Take hold of the back of the chair. And again, my ribs through forward. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. If mine are, I know it's not just me. Elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, pull with the right hand, push with the left hand, and turn. And again, you don't want to just turn the head, but turn the torso itself. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting, maintain that lift. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, come to center. Turn around. So when you do the turn, in a way, you want to do it like a corkscrew, starting off at the base of your spine and rotating one vertebrae at a time, moving up to the top of your spine. All right, so square your hips, knees, heels. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthen and descend the inner groins. Front bottom ribs back. Arms forward, arms up, lengthen. Inhale. Exhale, arms out to the side, widen. Maintain the lift, maintain the width. Inhale. Exhale, turn towards the back of the chair. Elbows up, shoulders down. Front bottom ribs back. Again, lengthen and descend the groins. Now we're going to start off at the base of the spine. Inhale, on your exhalation, turn from the base of the spine, moving up into the lower back, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning into the mid-back, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning into the upper back, one vertebrae at a time. And inhale, lifting. Exhale, moving to the cervical spine, the neck, one vertebrae at a time. At the very tippity top, then turn your head to gaze over your right shoulder. Elbows up, shoulders down. Move that left shoulder blade into the body as you turn to the right. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Turn around. Square your hips, knees, heels. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen and descend the inner groins. Front, bottom, ribs back. Arms forward, arms up, lengthen. Keep that length. Inhale, exhale. Take the arms out to the side, widen. Keep the length, keep the width. Inhale, exhale, turn to the back of the chair. Watch those ribs. So lengthen and descend the groins. Draw the front, bottom ribs towards the back body. Elbows up, shoulders down. And remember, we're moving from the base of the spine upward. Inhale on your lift on the inhalation. On your exhalation, turn from the base of the spine one vertebrae at a time, moving into the lower back. And then inhale, lengthening, exhaling into the mid back, turning in the mid back one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turning into the upper back one vertebrae at a time. And then inhale, lifting, exhale, turning into the cervical spine one vertebrae at a time. The very end, you can turn your head to gaze over your left shoulder. Elbows up, shoulders down. Move your right shoulder blade into the body as you turn to the left. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Remove the chair. One last downward facing dog. So you can use the chair if you want, or from the floor. Pressing down, the ball of the first finger and thumb, rotating the upper arms out. Pushing into the floor evenly with each of the hands. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale, lengthen through the arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. This is our last downward facing dog. Turn your thighs and press your thighs back. Press into the hands, lengthen from the tips of the first fingers through to your sit bones, through the inner arms, armpits, side ribs. Press the thighs back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. Extend your outer heels down, lift your outer hips up. And as you press your thighs back, on your exhalation, take your chest towards your thighs. The chest chases the thighs. How is this pose different than the last time you did it? What's different? What's changed? Let the skull release. And then bending your legs, touch your knees to the floor at precisely the same moment. Take your feet together, take your knees apart, take your sits bones on your heels, and lengthen the torso forward. Rest your skull, either on the floor, but if that floor is far, then you just take a block and rest your head on the block. Let the skull completely surrender. And then take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up, and lie back. Bend your legs, have your feet on the floor for a moment, just lie back. And then bend your legs into your chest and give yourself a little hug. This is a beautiful opportunity to say something kind to yourself, something loving to yourself. Remembering that the purpose of yoga is to still the fluctuations of the mind so that you can bathe in your own true splendor. Can you recognize your own true splendor? Honor it, perhaps even bathe in it. Take your hands on the face of your knees now. On your inhalation, keep your hands on the knees for a moment. On your inhalation, let your legs move away from you just 2-3 inches. On your exhalation, the legs draw towards you. So inhale, let the legs move away. Exhale, draw them towards you. That's it. Inhale, legs move away. Exhale, legs draw towards you. Just a massaging of the abdomen and easing of the lower back. Take a few of these breaths, the pace of your breath, not mine. And then on your next inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Straighten your legs one at a time. Let your legs fall out to the sides. Find a comfortable place for your arms out to the sides, perhaps 30 degrees from your body, but if something else is comfortable, that's fine. And let go. Let go. Let your arms and your legs flow away from your torso, like four streams flowing away from the source. Your torso is the source, your arms and legs are the streams. Let your arms and legs flow away from the torso. Let the whole body surrender to the Mother Earth below you. And release and relax all of your facial features, softening your forehead. Release, relax your eyebrows and the space between your eyebrows. Softening your eyelids and your eyelashes. Release, relax your nose, the tip of your nose, the inside walls of your nostrils. Release, relax your cheeks. Release, relax your lips, top lip, bottom lip, corners of your lips. Release, relax your jawbone. Let the jawbone move away from the bones of your skull more and more as time goes on. Soften, release, relax your tongue. The tongue resting on your lower palate, softening the tip of the tongue, the way back root of your tongue, where your tongue nears your throat, and softening your throat. Draw your ears inward and begin to listen to the breath from the inside. Let go everything, hold nothing. Let go everything, hold nothing. Let go. Surrender. Shavasana. Begin slowly coming out of your Shavasana. Take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart, knees together, feet apart. So bend your legs, feet on the floor, knees together, feet apart. Just helps ease the lower back. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate to your body, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right, be on your right side for a moment. And if you prefer to roll to the left side, roll to the left side, but be on your side for just a moment. And if you feel ready, take your top hand, place it on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor first, push to come up chest first, head last. Then come up to sit in, cross your legs the opposite way that you did at the beginning of class. Bring your palms together. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones as you turn the corners of your lips up. Take a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? Remember to take your yoga practice with you out into the rest of your day, into your afternoon, your evening, into all of your interactions with other people, with kindness and with compassion. Kindness and compassion for others. Most importantly, kindness and compassion for yourself. And let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Jenny, let your eyes